anti-Semite? Do I hate the Jews?
What do you mean number? I missed that. What do you mean number?
Caleb, at one point, I said, how anti-Semite am I, from 1 to 10. At one point, he gave me 7.5. And the second time, he gave me 10. Third time was 10. And today, I'm asking him after 2 weeks. He's like, you're fixed. So, according to you, you're Jewish as well, right? According to you, am I a Jew hater? Is that?
I don't know. Do you hate the Jews?
No, I don't.
Do you think Jews control the world?
No.
Okay. Do you think that Israel is inherently less moral than any other nation? I mean, are you aware of the ongoing genocide in Darfur?
Oh my God. I'm aware of the ongoing genocide. Do you hear about the white genocide that's going on in South Africa?
Basically, I think that the fact that you're more focused on Israel than other nations of the world is a little hint of anti-Semitism in its.
Yeah, but I'm not attacking the Jews, right? I'm talking about the genocide and attacking the Zionism, right? Even the title is about Zionists, right? So it doesn't say Jews in the title, does it? So in America, we have evangelical Christians that are Jews. We have Muslims that are Jews. We have Jews that are.
So Freudian slip. That's called a Freudian slip.
Yeah, evangelical Christians.
That reveals his actual hatred.
No. I haven't slept. Caleb, I haven't slept. That's why. You see, I'm mixing them.
Maybe you should take a nap, poor baby.
I will. Something's about to come up. I have to go.
I just want to say another thing. I just want to say one thing as well.
I wasn't finished because he's just saying, hey, no, I'm not done. So, evangelical Christians, right? They're Zionists. You have Muslim Zionists. You have Jews that are Zionists. You have atheists that are Zionists. You have agnostic that are Zionists. And maybe tomorrow if I go to a store, maybe a cashier behind the counter, maybe he's a Zionist. I don't know. So all I'm saying is the Zionists, they come in all shapes and forms and whatnot. So that's what I'm against.
Right, and I just wanted to add to
the Jews.
Can I just add to that as well? I go to the Zionist groups and they literally just talk about Islam as a religion, directly. Like, we don't scream Islamophobia. They just talk about the religion. Oh, it's not compatible with this. They just want to kill themselves to death. Oh, I hear it directly, right? If we wanted to attack the Jews and the Judaism as a religion, you would hear the word Judaism come up, and we would just attack it. We're not afraid of saying, we're not mincing our words. We'll say what we're thinking. So when we say we don't hate Jews, we mean it. We don't have to pretend. We don't have to pretend. I don't know who's keeping count, but that's the reality. We're talking about Zionism. That's the reality. So take what you want from that.
Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF.
Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF.
Yeah, those guys got dropped by their agent, as they should.
They'll probably get another one.
Yeah, but it's good that their agent dropped them. You can't say that shit on stage at a festival.
It's allowed according to their laws, isn't it? Freedoms.
No, I think that's
it's a call for violence. It's not protected.
You don't seem to know. Amir, you don't seem to know too much about like laws and the free.
I wouldn't call it violence. There are legitimate.
Wait, what's the call for violence? The popular song that's out. Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF. That.
You guys are so dishonest. It's amazing. My thing is like.
Are we talking about
I really try to be honest and I try to be respectful. Sometimes I say things that are wrong. Yes, that's the song that we're talking about. But what I think is funny is that I at least make an effort to be honest, and I make an effort to be respectful. You guys don't even care about integrity at all. You don't care about honesty at all, and you don't make an effort to be respectful at all.
You've been playing the victim too long.
Yeah, sometimes I slip up. Sometimes I lose my patience after like an hour and a half of disrespect. I respond with like, 1 word. So you guys give me an hour and a half of disrespect, and then I say a rude word. Like, I've heard Caleb lose his patience too. I don't know why you're talking right now while I'm talking. Why are you talking while I'm talking? 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 Why are you talking while I'm talking?
Off the mic Wednesday,
Why are you talking while I'm talking?
Because he's never said that word.
Why are you talking?
Can we do one mic? Let him land his plane, and then you can come off the mic Wednesday. Let's do one person at a time.
Sorry.
Go on.
And I'm actually defending Caleb, which I don't like.
I don't know who cares about Caleb. Go on, Zach. Finish what you're going to say, and then Wednesday's going to respond to.
Yeah, my point was that sometimes I lose my patience, and I'm not always perfectly respectful, but I at least make an effort. I really try when I'm calm to be respectful, and I try to only say things that are true. You guys don't really have an effort. You don't make an effort to say things that are only true. You have no problem lying, and you also have no problem being consistently disrespectful. And that's very disappointing.
Okay, then.
Okay. All right, I think he's projecting. First of all, even if people were disrespectful to you, you don't have to be a racist. You can find other ways to disrespect somebody instead of resorting to racism. But maybe that is just you. That's a you thing. Maybe you're a racist. Maybe that's just who you are. There's been plenty of times that I've been disrespectful to people, and people have been disrespectful to me back. I don't resort to racism. That's just some low IQ shit. But that's who you are. Caleb has been disrespectful to me. I have been disrespectful to Caleb. Caleb has never called me the N-word. So I don't know why you're trying to compare yourself to Caleb. That's a little weird. That's a little strange.
Oh, that's another thing as well, Zach. When you come into the pro-Pali space and you're like, this is how you guys treat us. This is what's happening to the Palestinians, and the way you get treated in this space, it has nothing to do. It's two separate subjects.
I hear you that you don't fully understand the point that I'm trying to make when I say that. I hear you that you don't really understand my point, but for you to then argue against it the way that you're doing without fully understanding my point, I think
I do understand.
Intellectually dishonest. So again, you're being dishonest because you're misrepresenting my point. So you can lie all you want, but I don't think that any god of Islam or Judaism or Christianity, I don't think that God approves of lying. All the religions at the very base, they say, be honest. So I don't know why you think lying is the ticket to winning an argument. You just make shit up.
Zach, let me ask you this. If I were to curse you out right now, if I curse the shit out of you, I curse your mother, whatever, okay? Now, for you to come off the mic and say, this is what's happening to the Palestinians. You see the difference there? It doesn't make sense. I'm cursing you personally.
No,
it has nothing to do with Palestinians. It has nothing to do with Palestinians. You see what I'm saying? You can curse me back out, right? I don't mind. But I'm saying it has nothing to do with Palestinians. And then you come off the mic and say, oh, this is what's happening to the Palestinians, they deserve it, and that's why they're in the rubble. Why would you bring up the Palestinians? When I'm cursing you out personally, it's between me and you. It has nothing to do with the Holocaust. It has nothing to do with the Palestinians. It has nothing to do with the genocide. It's between me and you. That's where I have a problem with some of these Zionists, right? Don't come up here, and then when we go back and forth on an argument or discussion, then when they lose or when they get triggered, they're like, yeah, this is what's happening to the Palestinians. This is why. Why are you bringing what's happening to the Palestinians? Bro, it's sad.
Are you asking me a question? Because it sounds like you're asking me a question, but you're not really.
No, I'm actually explaining
Okay, so
it to
you're
you
not
that
asking
it's
a question.
wrong. It's a wrong thing to do. You see what I'm saying? It's wrong at so many levels. Just like what Aziz said,
Okay,
right?
I hear you. You don't like that argument.
It's not the argument. It's wrong. I'm cursing you out, right? I'll curse you out. Forget about my position, pro-Pali, pro-Israel, whatever. That has nothing to do with it. I'm cursing you out personally. And then you come off the mic, this is why what's happening with the Palestinians, they're under the rubble because you treat me wrong. Bro, my treatment, right? Me treating you like shit has nothing to do with the Palestinians. That's where I have a problem with.
Yeah, that's
You
good
gotta
art.
stop with that shit. You gotta stop with that shit, Zach.
Also, may I also add that he said that we're being disingenuous. Josh was telling us something about a guy who was saying something about AI and it's acceptable for a pedophile to use AI and do some nasty, disgusting thing. And I don't really believe you. I mean, I don't have to believe you, and it's just my opinion. I honestly think you were about to make a comparison with homosexuality and pedophilia. If I'm a betting woman, I'm not a betting woman, but I would put a lot of money on it and I'll probably win. But it's okay. You've doubled down on your lie, and that's fair enough. We've passed on. But I really hope you don't believe that pedophilia is a sexual orientation.
Well, it doesn't really matter what I believe because you're gonna lie about me and make shit up and misrepresent me no matter what I say. So it doesn't really matter what I actually believe because you're a liar.
Can I finish, please?
Because you're a
Let
liar.
me finish, Zach.
Can
Let
I
me finish.
finish,
I'll give you the mic.
No, I'm gonna go. Have fun.
And I think, okay, well, it's, what I was going to say is, can you hear me? Oh, anyway, what I was going to say is, it is no comparison to that because it's all about consent. Two gay men who are consenting to having sex with each other. Two lesbian women are consenting to have sex with each other. A child does not give consent, so it is not a sexual orientation.
You guys are so obsessed with sex. It's like insane.
Well, no. Caleb, what I don't understand is that you, on top of that as a rabbi, you on top of that as a father, didn't fix his little thing spiel that he was about to say. At least help your little Jewish brother out.
I didn't know what he was trying to say because he was interrupted, so I didn't actually
Oh, come
track
on. We couldn't.
because he wasn't.
We couldn't.
Oh, come on,
we
Wednesday.
all, even
Oh,
Jacob
come on,
said
Wednesday.
it.
Be a
Even
grown-up
Jacob
now.
said it.
Come on, be a grown-up
Even
now.
Jacob said it. Even Jacob said it. Even Jacob said it. When Jacob was talking about the AI
Who's Jacob?
discuss.
You mean Josh?
Sorry.
The irony
Josh
is Zach
talking about-
interrupted with that statement. So
Right. When
You guys have no
exactly.
capacity. Zach is right. You guys have no capacity to just like
No.
sit.
Caleb,
No.
Do you,
No.
Caleb, do you
no,
think pedophilia
no.
is a sexual orientation, Caleb?
No, I don't.
All right, so shut the fuck up.
But like I said, like you guys take the bait on
Alright.
sex stuff and you bring
So
up
you
the sex
agree
stuff
with
all
me,
the time.
right?
You guys are obsessed. You guys are obsessed. Obsessed with sex.
Kind of. The issue here is.
Oh yes, tell me what the yes. Tell me what the issue is. Village to village. Go village to village and tell me what the issue is.
When he was talking to Aziz, he actually mentioned sending a message to Aziz that I'm not going to send a message to Aziz along the lines of that come and suck my dick or I'm going to come and suck your dick. He's the one that brought up this dick thing, and I was in a shock. Why do you? And you can ask Aziz very easier. And I was in a shock that he gets trolled, right, about his experience with a transsexual, whatever, transgender. And then here you are, you're bringing up the dick thing again, and people are going to start trolling you. And when people troll you, you get butthurt and you start using racial slurs. And I told him earlier on as well, if I curse you out personally, if I call you motherfucker or piece of shit, call me a motherfucker, right? Why do you have to stoop down to that level with the N-word? He did it in JB's room. He has done it in a whole bunch of, even Unnormal. Like the piece of shit Unnormal is, he kicks him down. You see what I'm saying? And I have kicked him down multiple times and do not use the N-word. Like, why do you have to stoop down?
You guys have no. Do you guys? Let me ask you a question. You want this room to be about? If you want this room to be about substance and content and talking about the issues and all your ways that you want to delegitimize the Israeli state, the Zionist entity, as you say, why on earth would you continue to take the bait every time and to bring it up unwarranted, unprovoked every time? Oh, sex. And you guys trolled Zach on his sex story. He shouldn't have shared that with anybody. That was his mistake. But why do you bring it up all the time? It's because you guys are sex-starved incels who have no real ability to have a real conversation.
Have a conversation. Where are you getting this from? Like,
because you guys bring up homosexual. You guys bring up homosexuality.
He brought it up. We didn't bring it up. He brought.
So you know what you do, Amir? You say, this isn't the topic of the room and we're moving on. Be a good mod. Don't be a dick.
We tried to stay on topic.
No, guys, you all are so stupid. You all are so
I gave you my advice, Caleb, in front of me. I said, do not bring up the dick thing.
Yeah, so then you move the conversation forward and you stop talking about it. Look, you're still talking about it. You can't help yourselves.
But Caleb, so you're allowed to talk about it and we can't? And then you're not sitting.
I never bring that shit up. You guys are the ones who bring that shit up. I never do. Because that's not the topic of the room. The room is about how Amir hates Jews and Amir hates Israel. That's what the topic of the room is about. You want to talk about that? You don't have to bring up homosexuality or sexual issues.
Right. Well, you need to tell Zach that, because Zach.
I don't have to tell anybody anything, you fucking moron.
Well, you do, because he used a whole.
Well, you do. Why don't you go back to your South London shanty and fucking just be a moron down there?
I'll do that, and then what you'll do is you'll be a rabbi that does homosexual weddings, right? Against Hashem's will. That's what you'll do. Yeah. You'll do that. I think Hashem wants people that. That's an abomination. Yeah, that's what you're going to do, Rabbi.
I think your opinion about.
What the fuck you're going to do?
Your opinion about how.
Rabbi. Fuck you.
Your opinion about how.
Fucking idiot.
Your opinion about how I engage as a rabbi professionally is none of your goddamn business.
You go and make weddings out of abominations, just according to your scripture. You go and do that, Rabbi.
The scripture does not say that weddings are abominations.
Put some respect on my name. I'm trying to respect you, Caleb, and you make
No, you're not.
Difficult. I'm trying.
No, you're not trying to respect me in one bit.
I stayed quiet.
You are an imbecile.
We're South London. I stayed quiet.
I'm just telling the truth.
I don't.
Aziz, you are so stupid you can't form any sentences in English.
I think you're an imbecile, Caleb. You do gay.
Great, so we're even then. I know much more about Hashem than you do, and I don't take. Hey, Aziz, let's clear this up right now. Aziz, let's clear this up right now. Aziz, shut the fuck up for 1 second. I couldn't give two shits about what you think.
Don't disrespect me.
I'll disrespect you whenever the fuck I want. You are disrespectful. You earn the disrespect.
I think
the same thing about you.
I don't think.
I think the same thing about you. Aziz.
Right? But I keep that to myself.
Aziz, right? I have forgotten more about you. Aziz.
Keep it in my pocket. Keep yours.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Your criticism in your pocket.
Don't tell my husband to shut up.
Keep your criticism in your pocket. Do you understand? And I'll keep mine in mind. Because if I start speaking about you, you won't like it. Right? It's gonna hit different. I'm not even in gear 2 yet. I'm being nice. So just remember.
Aziz.
Don't just fling it in.
Aziz, I want you to recall when I defended you against Norm after you were being so idiotic. right? No, you have not. No, you have not. And Aziz, I want you to stop talking now so I can get one sentence out. Please let me get one sentence out, okay? Let's come to an understanding. You say nothing about my work as a rabbi, and I'll consider giving you more respect. But my work as a rabbi and my understanding of Jewish tradition is none of your fucking business. And I don't take advice from non-Jews. Shh.
Why are you
Aziz, hold your...
Why does he talk like
Aziz.
Why do you talk to
Aziz.
people as if you are their fucking father, bro? Stop
Aziz, I would like to be able the same way that Zach gets frustrated when you interrupt and don't let him finish a sentence. That's the same with me. So Aziz, shut your mouth and let me finish a fucking sentence.
Wait. You get
put some
fucking
respect on my
frustrated
name.
all the
That's it.
fucking time, bro.
Keep it simple.
You get
Don't
frustrated
speak
all
on
the
me
time because
personally.
you have this thing, this ego about you as if
Wednesday, I'm talking to Aziz. Shut up.
everyone else.
Caleb,
Your mother's
just going
a bitch,
forward,
bitch.
like I said, keep it simple. Don't speak on me personally.
Your mother's a
and I
bitch.
won't-
Okay, I am keeping it simple and I'm not speaking on you personally, so shut up so you can listen.
You are. You call me all kind of words. I keep my mouth.
Shut up so you can listen.
I try and
Shut up so you can listen. Shut up so you can listen. Aziz, are you gonna allow me? Aziz, are you gonna allow me to finish a sentence? Aziz, are you gonna allow me to finish a thought?
Let's do 1% at a time.
Are you gonna allow me to fucking finish a thought?
Okay, go and finish, Caleb, and then Aziz will respond. Let's do 1%. Hang on. Go on,
For
Caleb.
fuck's sake, Aziz, get some goddamn patience. If you stop talking to me about my life and work as a rabbi, that would be great. It is not relevant to any of the conversations we have here about Israel and Palestine. It is not relevant to any conversations we have about anything. It's just irrelevant. So why don't you leave it out? And I don't take advice or counsel from non-Jews about how to be Jewish anyway. So why don't you just, hush up on that stuff? Because it's not relevant to the conversation here.
Right. And in future, make sure you just stick to the topic before this attacking me personally. Because even in this room, you call me an imbecile, I stayed quiet. I stayed quiet. And it was only when you continued to attack me, you went personal, talking about this South London and you're in this and that. You don't know anything about me. And I know stuff about you, and I keep it in my back pocket.
You don't know anything about me, Aziz. That's the whole point.
I'm not done.
That's the whole point. What do you think you know about me? What do you think you know about me?
Respect you're not giving me. Be quiet.
What do you think you know about me?
Why would you call him an imbecile?
What do you think you know about me?
Give me the respect I gave you.
What do you think you know about me?
Caleb, let him finish. I told him to mute up, right? So please allow.
What do you think you know about me?
You can ask him later. Go on, Aziz.
What do you think you know about me?
Just let him finish. Come on.
Like the way you don't take counsel from non-Jews, I don't take counsel from Jews. So just be quiet for a second and let me finish. We're going to keep the same energy, both directions. Understand? So in future, don't discuss me personally. Stick to the topic. The same way I was reluctant to discuss you personally, even though you mentioned me personally as you used a slur. I said, okay, cool. Then you double down on it, and then I attacked. Okay? And I know stuff about you. I keep it in my back pocket the same way.
Yeah. What do you know about me? What do you know?
I don't want to do that, Caleb.
What do you think you know?
I don't want to do that, Caleb. It's not necessary.
What do you think you know? Give me a category.
You know what?
You don't even have to say the particular thing. What do you think you know?
No.
What do you think you know? What do you think you know?
Caleb, I give you more
What do you
respect
think you
than
know?
you deserve. So.
What do you think you know? What do you think you know?
Oh my God! Shut up.
You're right. Finally, you're right. For once in your life, it's irrelevant. You're right. So there's no point in saying. So there's no point in saying. So Aziz. So there's no point in saying I know something about you, but I'm going to keep it quiet. So you don't even have to mention that at all.
Something about it,
I don't have to,
though.
but
Sound like
He must have something.
you must.
What do you think you know about me?
Why do you care?
If it was done to get you, you wouldn't be.
Anyway, Caleb, I
Exactly.
wouldn't bring it up anyway. I don't bring up anything personal about people on this app.
It's
Unless they
irrelevant.
mention it themselves.
If there's nothing to hide, why would you care?
I have nothing to hide.
All right, so then
I'm wondering
it's
what he thinks he knows about me.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
You're
You're right. It is irrelevant. So it doesn't even. You're right. It's irrelevant. So it's not.
I wouldn't bring
You
it up.
shouldn't have to answer the
I
question.
wouldn't bring it up.
You don't even have to bring up. You don't even have to bring it up in this passive aggressive way. Oh, I know something
But if
about
he wants to
you.
do
I'm just
if he wasn't
Oh, I know something about you.
Why are you able to say what you want, but you don't tell him how to talk? You never talk about
I know something about you.
it's how you handle your. It's you don't.
So, look, this is what I understood, right? The deal is, Caliph, you don't attack Aziz personally, and he doesn't attack your belief system or what you believe in. Okay.
Yeah, wonderful. I can defend. I don't give a shit what he thinks about what I believe, how I practice. It makes no difference.
But he's a young brother. I know you're probably like 40, 50 in your Zionist spaces. You know, tell him to let him speak or something. And,
If Aziz could form a coherent sentence, it would be easier for me.
Well, I think the same about you, Caleb. So, you're not exactly
The fucking
profound.
backlash. Are you fucking stupid, bro? I would have cursed you out a long time ago. He got more patience than me.
Do you know what I mean? Even like the little sly digs, like Caleb, I'm just not emotional like you, so I don't respond. But I can feel the passive aggression every time you address me. Like keep it to myself, because I know how to act as a man. You know, if it was you wouldn't be able to contain yourself, because an emotions start kicking in. So that's what I'm saying. Just keep that energy, keep it in your pocket. Unless you want rebuttals, don't come for me. That's just what it is.
Caleb, I have
Stick to
a
the
maxi
topic.
pad. Would you like it? Do you want to use one?
anyways, we got Ramon here. Ramon, did you want to say something? Was it Raymond or Ramon?
No, it was right the first time, brother. What's going on? Yeah, I was kind of hoping to hear a good conversation, man. I didn't think there was gonna be a Zionist on stage going off, cussing people out. But yeah, what's the conversation about? I've been paying attention to I guess what you would call religious Jews and their protests against what's happening over in Israel. This isn't a new thing. They've been doing this for years. There's a whole documentary, where I had to check myself and understand the difference between Jews like Caleb and ones who truly are seeking after God and trying to live righteously. I was shocked to hear some of these Jews over there actually standing and protesting against Zionism and getting assaulted by their own quote unquote people. So yeah, this is an interesting conversation today, man.
Well, I mean, at the protest, and even on this app, they get, I don't know, they put a title over their head. Caleb, do you call the sister Ezra like a self-hating Jew, Caleb?
No, I don't think she's a self-hating Jew. I think she's misguided. I think she actually doesn't live in spaces that are connected to the broader mainstream Jewish community. I think she's cut off, actually. I think she displays herself as some kind of expert in the broad Jewish community, and she just isn't. It's obvious, to me at least, when she speaks, that she really has no good knowledge about the breadth of Jewish thought, Jewish ideas. I'm talking sociologically here. I'm not talking about religious ideas. That she's quite knowledgeable, but I just think she's. I don't think she hates herself because she's a Jew. I don't even know if she hates herself, but I think she's doing damage. She's doing damage. I think she's doing damage to the body politic of the Jewish community.
Because she's against Zionism?
Hang on.
No, because of the way she is against Zionism. The way she is against Zionism, if you listen to her carefully, right, is very clearly, mostly for her, about white supremacy, and that she thinks Zionism is a white supremacist. Kind of.
Is it not?
No.
Is it?
If you interrupt, then this conversation's going to go off the rails real quick. I was asked an opinion question, and I'm giving my response.
You don't gotta get
I'm not responding to her. I'm not responding to her claim. I'm just describing her claim, right? And if you listen carefully, because she thinks that, right, that Zionism is some kind of like white supremacy, right? That's really her whole thing. She doesn't really care, right? If she was somebody else, not Jewish, right, she wouldn't care about Zionism in the ways that she does. She would just care about white supremacy. That's her big umbrella of all of this.
So
Which is good. We should fight white supremacy, right? It's Zionism is white supremacy. So
follow-up question for you, Caleb. So when we look at the black Jewish people inside Israel, right, and we see a lot of videos how they get discriminated against, the European Ashkenazi Jewish people, how they discriminate against the black Jews. What do we make out of that? How do we deal with that? I mean, that does, show that this white supremacy exists inside Israel. Does it not?
there's racism in Israel, like there's racism in every other society, on the planet. I wouldn't call it white supremacy necessarily, or even explicitly. It's racism.
Oh my god, this guy's a fucking.
So if the people have converted to Judaism, right, and they call themselves Ashkenazi, and they were white before, right, they converted to Ashkenazi, they would still be white, right? Or they would be like just Jews.
What does white have anything to do?
I'm just asking you. So let's say if it's a white person that converts to Judaism, right, and moves to Israel, can he call himself a white, or he just goes with the identity called Jew, like that he's just a Jew? He's no longer.
That's not how. This is such an American framework of thinking, right? That's
It's
not
a
how
question.
I understand, and I'm answering the question. That's not really how race doesn't function that way in Israel in terms of like kinds of Western color zones that Europe and America has. It's just not the way that it functions, right? Most of the racism is towards not black people, right, but like non-Ashkenazi Jews, right, which has a lot to do with like culture and less to do with color, right? It has to do with they were from those kinds of other countries and we were from the Atlantic West, right? And so the racism is different. Right, so I think you're seeing it very differently. And your question, like, the premises of your question don't make any sense, right? If somebody converts to Judaism, then they're Jewish. Who cares about what their color is?
So the reason why I brought this up, because when I
Because you're stating.
when I made a claim about how white people are being racist to the black Jews. So if somebody from white community converts to Judaism and he's being racist inside Israel towards a black Jew, he's white supremacy. There's white supremacy there.
There's a range between racism and white supremacy. White supremacy has to do with institutional control, societal power and pressure, right? Racism, if you're talking about just like people are bigots or people discriminate, that's not the same as white supremacy.
Well, you just described Zionism.
Exactly. That's why I'm just laughing.
Yeah, that's what Zionism actually is.
Zionism is the movement for all the Jews. Not just some.
Okay, so when the Zionists go over to places in Africa and they find people who have been claiming to be Israelites for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they tell them, hey, you're an Israelite, but do you want to become a Jew? What do they mean by that, Caleb? What do they mean? You're an Israelite, but do you want to become a Jew?
What they mean is that we have a legal system. And what they mean is if that is part of what your identity tells you and what your cultural history and traditions tell you, would you like to join the actual Jewish people?
Yeah, and that's the problem, is because when you say the actual Jewish people, you're implying that the people that you're speaking to are not actually Jewish. Now, why would you imply they're not actually Jewish? Is it because their skin color, is because they haven't done your legal?
No, it's the legal thing.
Right. So what you're saying is these people who've had their tradition, Jew is what you're saying?
No, nobody's compelled to convert. The question is if you want to join yourself with the most traditionally attested to, historically attested to, descendants of Israelites and descendants of historically attested to communities, then that's the mainstream Jewish community today. I'm sorry, it's not the Hebrews.
Yeah, that's very untrue. Actually, it's very likely that you are not descendants from Jacob at all. And this, when you talk about the longest lasting traditions,
I didn't say descendant from Jacob. I said descendant from historically attested to Jewish communities.
No, you said Israel. You said Israel.
I said
Jacob.
I said historically attested to Jewish communities.
But you said descended from.
Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
Hold on, brother. You said descended from. So who did they descend from?
Historically attested to Jewish communities.
Well, who's the first historically attested to Jew in history?
Well, that's a historical question that scholars would debate.
Well, you just brought up history, so let's talk it. I actually study history, so let's talk it. Who was the first attested Jew, as you understand a Jew today? Who was the first attested Jew in history?
I mean, I don't think there was probably one. There was a community of people who were who self-identified in such a way, and then who were identified
when was
from
that?
outside. Excuse me. Clearly the Israelite communities of the Bible during the Assyrian and Babylonian exiles, they were identified as unique set of people, right? I don't know. They weren't called Jews then, right?
Right.
But they were clearly identified with a practice and a culture and a religion and a land and a God.
Okay, got you. Now I agree with that. So you had the tribes that were initially up north that went into the Assyrian captivity, correct?
That was in 722. Right?
Okay, so they dispersed and went to all these different places in what we call the Middle East now and in Africa. Now the Jews were the southern kingdom, where you had 2.5 tribes who went behind the northern tribes and did more evil than they did, and in 70 AD their place was destroyed, right?
Why are you telling me history that I already know?
Well, because I'm trying to make sure we understand what we're referring to as Jews, and we're not just saying that some people come along and adopt a name or a tradition, and then they go and point the finger at people who are actually descendant from those people and say, hey, if you want to be a real Jew, you got to come over and do what we did. So what I'm trying to get to the bottom. Hold on. No, let me finish.
Just 1 second. No, 1 second. I just want to. It's 1 second. It's not about being a real Jew. It's about, do you want
But you said that.
No, it's not.
You said that if you want to be a true Jew, what is a true Jew?
It's not what I said. I don't use language.
It is what you said. You said if they want to be a true Jew, there's a legal. Oh my God.
That's not what I said.
I listened very well. So let's go back. The Africans in Africa who were claiming descendancy from Jacob for thousands of years, when the Jews go over and tell them, do you want to become a Jew or do you want to remain an ancient Israelite? What do they mean?
They mean that most people, when they say they are descendants of Israelites, the conventional understanding of that means Jewish. Now, there's a mainstream Jewish community, and there's a law of the Jewish community, and it's very thick culture, and it's been developed over thousands of years. And some descendants of Israelites were cut off from those centers of Jewish life. So, do you want to be a part of that, or do you not want to be a part of that? If you do, there's a way to do it. If you don't, fine. Be happy with the life you already have. No problem. But you cannot wake up one morning and say, we are these people, right? With no real evidence.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. That's
just say, we are these people. What are you talking about? Like I said, historically attested to communities. When other people say and point to a group over there and say they're the Jews, not we say, right? But they say, then you can be pretty sure that those people are actually Jews.
Okay, so these people were being attested to as Jews long before your people
as Jews, not as Jews, as
Israelites. Okay, listen.
They were attested to by other people.
Bro.
Hey, Jude,
Like, you gotta chill.
cutting him off, please. I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
No, but you're not tracking the salient points of what I'm saying.
No, you're not tracking what I'm saying because you keep cutting me off.
Other people have to say, see that community over there? They're the people.
Oh my God.
can't be a hypocrite.
Oh my God.
I can't help if you're so stupid.
Get a full thought out. Well, it ain't got nothing to do with being stupid. Hold up. Wednesday, I got it. It ain't got nothing to do with being stupid, brother. Like, and this is what I think the brother was saying. Like, when you guys can't answer questions or you're being pressed a little bit, you start with the ad homs and insults, right? We see it on the news all the time. That's what Jews do. But my point is this. You personally, let's talk about you personally. Can you trace your lineage back to any identifiable Hebrew or Jew?
No, nobody can do that. Not a single person on the planet can do that.
Okay, so one day you were born into a Jewish family?
Yep.
Okay, now how did they become Jews?
As far as we know from the research that we've been doing on family history and things like that, they've been Jews for hundreds and hundreds of years. I don't know that there was a starting point.
Well, hundreds of years isn't that far.
I know, but the easiest assumption is that they were just always Jews.
Okay, but hundreds and hundreds of years. You know how old the Earth is and how old humanity is, civilization?
Yes, I
Hundreds and hundreds of years is a drop in the bucket of history. So, and I might agree with you that these people have only been claiming to be Jews for hundreds of years, right? And we can actually go and trace. Oh my God!
I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question. I don't understand when you ask when did they start being Jewish. Like, I don't understand the like. When did you stop beating your wife?
Because there's a clear starting point for your people when they started identifying as Jewish people. And if you know your history, you should be able to, because you guys argue and you're trying to convince other people to become like you, but you don't even know how you got like you are.
I'm not interested in convincing anybody else to be Jewish unless they come to me and say I'm very interested. I don't care how I proselytize.
I'm actually a Jew. I'm actually from the tribe of Judah.
Well, from the tribe of Judah and being a Jew are different things.
Well, okay, all right, hold on. Where did the term Jew come from, Caleb?
Jew derives from the tribe of Judah, and other people call us. Other people call us that. We never refer to ourselves as that. We always refer to ourselves as the people of Israel, or the children of Jacob.
Oh, so you never referred to yourself as a Jew?
We did. No, we did not.
Oh, okay. So before let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Prior to 1948.
So you're gonna jump around again. So wait. So hold on a second. Let's just.
No, we don't have to. We can stop right here.
Let's investigate your claim. Let's investigate your claim. How do you know you're from the tribe of Judah?
Oral tradition and DNA.
DNA can't prove you're from the tribe of Judah.
I said oral tradition and DNA.
DNA cannot prove what tribe you come from.
Okay, then I have more evidence than you do because all you have is a rumor. I have oral tradition going back. Many of my family members attest to this, and DNA shows that my people are from there. So you're saying DNA? You're saying from Israel?
From where?
From Israel. And it shows where they migrated, shows where they got on the boats, where they got off the boats. I got names. Like I don't see. You see, my answer to you is actually based off of evidence and research, and yours is just like, well, people just said we worked for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
that would be okay.
Because you understand the rules of the Jewish community, right? About defining who is and who is not a Jew. Have nothing to do with DNA. They never have. It has nothing to do.
Says you. Of course, y'all don't want it to do with DNA because your DNA will prove you wrong. Of course, y'all don't want it to have anything to do with DNA.
It's not because of that. It's because in a life of exile for thousands of years, and you want to track family connections, right? What's important is where the kids are, what parents are they with, right? And in a world, right, where there's mixing, and in a world where there's rape, and in a world where there's family separation, there needs to be a strategy to maintain and have the community stay together, right? So, and this is like in times when nobody had DNA, right? So in the times long before anybody was researching DNA, right? Hundreds and thousands of years before that, Judaism developed a strategy to make sure that the community can stay together and not just fizzle away, right? And one of those things has to do with how we count who is Jewish and who is not. And DNA is not a factor. DNA can play a part in contemporary times, but if you want to be part of the Jewish community, DNA is not enough. You have to develop a family tree. You have to have things like you said, which is family histories, oral traditions, some kinds of other kinds of evidences. That is, unless you're just born to a Jewish mother. Born to a Jewish mother, you're in. It's like birthright citizenship.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I think that's somewhat of a fallacy because if we choose to, and just to be transparent, this is what I think happened, Caleb. I don't want you to think that I'm being tricked, trying to trick you at all. I believe that your people were not of they weren't Hebrew at all, right? And they converted to this religion. They converted to this religion and actually put a bad name on the religion. A lot of things that came after, I think it was around the 5th or 6th century, with the Ashkenazis coming down from the Caucasus Mountains, taking on the identity of Jewish people. And then they went about and started spreading, their barbarism that they, were practicing in Khazaria, and got kicked out of pretty much every country. Now, I don't remember them ever going into slavery necessarily. Like, I don't remember them being in captivity as the prophet.
Really, the Roman slave markets?
No. Listen what I'm saying. Your people that you're talking about.
You're Hebrew Israelite. You consider yourself, you identify as
I don't call myself a Hebrew Israelite. I don't identify with the camps. But
you identify with that basic theology of that.
Yeah.
They're Israelites.
No, not all black people are Israelites.
Right.
Yeah, that would be stupid to say that all black people are Israelites.
But you think your family is a descendant of biblical Israelites?
Yeah, I have more evidence than you do. You think because you were born to a woman who they
bring the evidence. It doesn't matter. I don't care about your evidence. I'm Jewish.
Well, I don't say bring the evidence. I don't care about your evidence.
No. Listen.
Oh, you're 100% Jewish. That means you're pure.
Look, I have 2 Jewish parents, 4 Jewish grandparents.
But how do you know that? How do you know they're Jewish if you ain't checked their DNA? Because you came out the womb.
Because DNA has nothing to do with Jewish.
Yeah, y'all stole the people's identity and then got rid of their identity and replaced it.
So this is the racism.
It ain't got nothing to do with racism. I don't think all Jews are black. I don't think all Israelites are black. I think they came out as a mixed multitude out of Egypt, right? And when they came out as a mixed multitude, it wasn't all one shade of skin color. Now, when you look at Judaism today, or let me not say Judaism.
You don't even know what mixed multitude. You don't even know what mixed multitude means.
Why do you keep cutting me off, man?
Why are you using terminology? You're using all your terminology wrong. Mixed multitudes means there were Israelites and non-Israelites.
Hey, little boy, why do you keep cutting me off?
Don't you know that mixed multitude means that there were Israelites and non-Israelites?
And that would mean that they all were not the same, right? Isn't that what it mean? That's you understand. Stupid, because you keep cutting me off. You're starting to piss me off now. Hey, shut up. I'm talking, and when I'm talking, you need to shut up and let me finish, because you're not adding anything to what I'm saying. You're not adding anything. You just keep over-talking me to distract from the point. So it's getting kind of ridiculous at this point. I think that this kind of oppression is what your Zionists, brothers spread all over the world. Y'all go around the world trying to bully people, whether it's through the media, whether it's through entertainment, whether it's on social media. This is all y'all do. So when we have real conversations and we start getting down to the nitty gritty, y'all can't deal with it. So I'm gonna go back to what I'm saying. You are claiming your people are Jews. Your mother was a Jew. You said I'm 100% Jew. And according to you, the term Jew comes from Judah. Now, Judah was a person, correct?
At one point.
And the people that descend from him, plus the other tribe and a half in the southern kingdom, would have been called Jews, correct?
Jews don't only come from the tribe of Judah. That's correct.
Yeah, so that's not what I said. That's not what. Listen to me clearly. The southern tribe was made up of 2.5 tribes, right? Judah was the main. Actually, Benjamin would have been Benjamin or Manasseh. Actually, had bigger tribes, but Judah, because of his place in the lineage, they called it after Judah. There was only 2.5 tribes. The rest of Israel had gone into captivity. My question for you is: the rest of those Israelites who went into captivity, for what reason would we consider them "quote unquote" Jews? That's my question.
It's if we were to be able to actually figure out the differences between tribal genetics, which we're not able to do right now, but if we were, let's just say if we were, right, the mainstream Jewish community would consider, right, as a plus in their corner, DNA that would show you're from the tribe of Ephraim or Manasseh or Gad or Asher or whatever as relevant, not determinative, but relevant to the idea of are you part of the same tribal conglomeration of antiquity. That would be relevant, right? And we do speak about 10 lost tribes of Israel, and we do speak about those people being parts of the Jewish community. We talk about We talk about the Jews. We talk about Ethiopian Jews. We talk about the Indian Jews, the B'nai Menashe, right? We talk about the Kaifang Jews were that's a different story, right? But we talk about Jews scattered around the world, right? We don't
My
want to
question
say
is, why are you calling them Jews?
that's just the terminology.
So when did it become the terminology to call all of the nation of Israel Jews? When did that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because we do read in the New Testament where it says Jews came to Israel from under every nation, and it talks about the nations that they had come from. So there were Jews clearly scattered with the other tribes. So I'm not disputing that there were Jews all over the place. I think that they went into Africa long before even the dispersion in 70 AD. But my question is like, and I had a conversation with a brother years ago, man. I was in the military and was talking to a young guy who was studying Hebrew, and I just asked him, because I was green. I didn't understand much about this. So I asked him, hey, where's the rest of your brothers and sisters? Like, Judah is one tribe, and it was one kingdom, but where's the rest of them? And this brother told me, he was a religious Jew. He said that they don't exist anymore. They don't exist anymore. God wiped them off the face of the map, is what he told me. Right, and
there's a reason why they're the lost. There's a reason why they're the lost tribes, right? But
who called them the lost tribes, though? Who referred to them as the lost tribes? Where are they lost at? God knows exactly where they.
We're not talking to forget the theology for a second, right? Like,
well, you can't. Hold on, brother. Hold on. Y'all can't go to a book that's dealing with theology and the God of this people, and then you try to come along and say, hey, let's divorce everything you know about Hebrews and about Jews and about Israel. Let's divorce that from the religious thing. And I want you to, eat up this secularism that I have for you, this secular Jewish thing that I have. Why would I do that?
Ramon, if you want to if you don't want to ignore the religious thing, then you have to take the word from experts about how the religion functions. You can't dictate from the outside.
I don't accept them as experts.
Listen to what I'm saying before you. Okay, I know you don't accept them as expert, but it would be, for example, it would be foolish for me as a non-Christian to tell Christians how their tradition actually works.
Because there's no such race as a Christian.
Similarly, it would be foolish for somebody who's not Jewish and who doesn't understand the intricacies of the insides of how Judaism functions, the legal traditions, to tell me how it functions or how it should function.
Can you go to the Torah and show me the legal traditions to show how Jewish tradition functions?
No, I would need other books besides the Torah.
Okay, I mean, because that was our first constitution. You would agree that the Israelites, that was our first constitution that made up.
It's my constitution. I don't know if it's yours. But
no, I mean, if it's your constitution, then you should be able to tell us where we can go in the constitution, which is the Torah, and show how legally somebody.
So again, we don't operate according to the strictures of the Torah. We operate with the Torah with the rabbinic. We operate Torah with rabbinic interpretation. That's how it is now, and it has been that way for good 1,800 years. So again, if you want to erase parts of the historical tradition and the inherited tradition and the evolution of Jewish tradition in favor of some kind of only biblical view, right? You're not really going to understand the full legalities of it all. You're going to be missing lots and lots of information.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. And respectfully, I'll say that what you're talking about with this whole Jewish thing and the legality and stuff, that's new news. That's why you can't go to the Torah and show it. You need these rabbis to tell you, hey, put that Torah aside. Let me tell you what you should actually believe about us, right? So, and this is why I say you guys hijacked the complete identity of a people, and then you switched it around and told these people, hey, you got to come in like me. Hold on, I'm not saying it's just the rules of the club.
It's just the rules of the club. It's the same as any club. There are rules. You got to dress a certain way.
Man, I don't join clubs, but yeah. So
sure you do. You sound to be a member of a real stupid club with dumb history and bad theology.
Ooh, that one hurt. Ooh, y'all hear that? Ouch. Y'all are bad. You think that if y'all been insulting people for this many thousands of years, y'all would be better at it by now? Like your insults will
Not
actually
insulting him. Not insulting
I haven't
him.
insulted. Look, I'm not insulting. I'm not insulting you. I'm cooking you slow. Like you know, you cook crabs. That's how you get cooked, Caleb, because you don't know your history. You don't know your history. You have not put one shred of evidence on the table to show. Yeah, you ain't put one shred of evidence.
You're not cooking a single thing.
You getting cooked, son.
He must be one of them Jews that eat pork.
Not at all. No, I don't eat pork.
Anyway, man, hey, Caleb, I'm gonna let you off the hook, man. I'm gonna let somebody else chop it up with you. But all I wanted to do was point out, and this is why I brought up the people in Africa, to show that you guys do have this inherent bias towards black people claiming that they're Israelites. Whether you want to agree with it or not, you guys do not like hearing black people say, "Hey, that's us." You do, and it's shown throughout this conversation.
No, it's fine. Listen. If it was me, Wednesday, hold on one second.
The woman you were speaking about,
Hold on a second.
Ezzy's a black
Yeah, I know Ezzy. I know it.
I have no problem with black Jews, right? The problem is when, look, if somebody wants to say, look, I'm an Israelite, if it was me, right, and I woke up and I have these traditions say, I'm an Israelite, what I would do is, I would say, who else thinks they are? I wonder if there's already like structures and systems and organizations and people who are helping people to live Jewish lives, right? Lives of people who are descendants of Israelites. I would go and say, I should go connect myself to those groups, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what that looks like.
That looks like. What do you mean looks like? You know,
For you. Let me clarify.
So it means I would go seek out, if it was me, I would go seek out the mainstream Jewish community or a local rabbi, and I would say, look, I have these stories in my family.
Until you find out they're sucking kids' penis.
Right. Again, there's the kind of like bigotry.
Right? You don't want to be part of that.
Do you want to talk about that particular thing?
Do you want to be part of that? Do you agree with that new practice where they say, hey, to keep the children from plotting, we're gonna have to.
No, I don't.
Should that be enough to turn somebody away from a Jewish community if they see priests or rabbis sucking on children's penis?
There's a reason why 99.9% of the Jewish community rejects that practice. There's a reason for that.
What's the reason?
Right?
Why did he even
Reasons are because.
I want to hear this reason. What's the reason they don't accept it? I want to hear.
What's dangerous?
What's so dangerous about it?
Because we know that kids have contracted herpes and other kinds of diseases.
So that's the part you have to come with, transmitting sexual diseases, not putting a penis in a rat.
No, both. There are multiple reasons here, right? But one of the main reasons, right, why this practice has stopped is because it's unhealthy.
It's immoral. Let's call it what it is. It's immoral.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean that should have been the first thing, though, right? Like, let's be honest. When we look at the
It came all at the same time. Listen, Ramon, you are not inside the community where these conversations are happening and where
are you sure?
Brought to bear. Yeah, I am sure.
Let me share with you real fast, brother. I'm not a part of the community, but I am very familiar. I have really, really close friends and brothers who are in the community. One brother on here named Yoshiyar, who have a lot of conversations, and we talk about this kind of stuff even on the phone, so I can understand more.
Yoshi's not in the community. Respectfully, Yoshi's not in the community either. Yoshi's not in the community either. He's a Karaite Jew, and he's not a part of the mainstream Jewish community.
Oh my God! See, this is what I'm saying. And Yoshi has melanin. It seems like you're coming against everybody.
It's fine. I have no issue with the color. I have no issue with the color of the skin.
The melanated Jews more than anybody else. Like, he don't have a problem with the rabbis.
He is the greatest example of the Jew that he likes.
Black rabbi, yeah. He just.
I don't. You know me and Black Rabbi don't get along.
Calm down with the racial.
We don't get along. Come on. I have no problem with black Jews. I have many black Jews.
As long as they become Jews the right way, right?
Yeah, that's right. if some other Jew came to me and said, woke up one day and said, "Oh, I just discovered this," I would also have a problem with that. You should do it the right way.
And this right way was established. That's why I was trying to ask if that right way was established in the Torah, or if it's something. Because you didn't point us to anything. You said we have these traditions, we have ways to show, but where do you legally?
We get. Do you want us to give you?
Yo, can I speak? Like, I'm
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was here before you black Jew up.
No, that's not. I just got it. I'm South Sudanese. I already got my own country. So I got to support Israel. Whatever they're doing, we're on the same page. It's just how it is.
Yeah, you can have that. Not me. Not me. You see in the Bible when Israel was doing wickedness and evil, the prophets didn't support them. They hold up, brother.
So I got
What are you talking about? What are you even talking about right now? What is your country?
So I got to
It's just South Sudan. So on the other side of Sudan, there's a genocide that's going on, and you know who's responsible? There's
I'm with Israel all day, every day.
All right, we know you're gonna die with them.
So on the other side of Sudan, right? There's a genocide that's going on, and it was giving the weapons America and fucking Israel, right? To the UAE. UAE is giving weapons to the
They're terrorists.
on the other side of Sudan.
It was enslavement
Where this guy is from.
They call you
Hang on, calm
being
down.
enslaved. They're trying to enslave us, all sorts of
Bro,
bullshit.
mute the fuck up, man. Nobody wants to talk to you. You're just an idiot. I had a conversation with
What
you.
does a beat mean?
You're
What
just
does
a
a beat?
dumbass.
What does a beat mean?
Okay. Sit in the audience. Thank you for coming. I didn't know that this Indian was.
Any black person that disagrees with
Well, any black person, we're allowed up here. Ramon is here. We had a whole bunch of people that come up here. That are Sister Ezzy comes in here. The Ariel son of a bitch is here. The genocide maniac.
black people.
Yeah. You think that 1-year-old cousin to be a terrorist? I allow a terrorist motherfucker like yourself on the stage, and I have the clip on you. Hold on. I can put the clip back in the
Yeah,
chat.
play the clip, man. Play the clip, bro.
If I can allow genocidal maniacs like you on this stage, can you imagine? You believe 1-year-old cousin to be a terrorist?
So what's wrong with that?
Recording.
So there's
Hey, is this the black rabbi that punched somebody in the face recently?
Yeah, he punched Ariel, like two black Jewish people,
Yeah.
both from America, and then they go to Israel. They're chasing after each other.
And make a fool out of
Was in love with black rabbi, make a fool of and the other one is like, and even this, they're both like into each other. Disgusting. I put the link in the chat for you guys. You guys can watch it. That's his testimony.
Yeah, see, I would have respect. I would have respect for these Jews who claim to be righteous if they were out there on the front lines with the ones who are speaking up against the genocide taking place in Gaza. Are you one of those, black rabbi? Are you speaking out publicly with your position against what's taking place?
What I do is I speak for the Palestinians who live here on the ground, who are being subjected to cruelty by Hamas.